That's it.
Hello everybody, this is Michael at Countertop Kings. We have walked downstairs at our job site and discovered some cool stuff. Some mask and mannequin of me in the next couple of years from all the stress of this company over here. And we just wanted to get some of this on video. What we're going to do today is we've got a white quartz kitchen, and I wanted to show everybody how I do a seam in white quartz. There's a lot of questions on slab fabbers and things like that about black lines and metal marks and things like that on white quartz. So I just wanted to kind of show everybody how I do it, and we'll get upstairs and get right to that. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in a minute. So there's Sammy and his sidekick. We just hired him yesterday, so he did show up to work today, so hopefully he'll last longer than most of our other people, but so guys, this is the countertop I was talking about. I think it's the name of this one, Shadow Quartz. And if you look, this is our seam. And of course, I ran the seam phantom on this at the shop. You've probably seen my video about the seam phantom. Like I said, I wouldn't dream of doing a seam without the seam phantom. But what I'm using now is some denatured alcohol. And I'm just spraying this on here. And I'm going to make sure this seam inside and out is as clean as you can possibly get it. You can see a little bit of darkness on there from just some dirt and stuff from transporting it from our hands and things like that. But it's very, very, very important that you get that seam as clean as possible. You want to make sure your hands are as clean as possible. You see my hands are really clean right now. So now you got to get your color right. Sammy has put me some color over here. We always use this transparent epoxy. If you use that yellow epoxy, it'll show. And he's put me some white and some gray. There's so many different colors of white. This one here, it's got the little gray outline. But if you actually look at the white, it's got just a touch of gray in it. So I'm just going to put just a little touch of gray pigment on my shim. If you can tell, my voice isn't right. Sammy, Melissa, and myself are a little under the weather. Unfortunately, I was the one that had it first, and I think I passed it along to them. But I think my buddy Pete had it before I did and passed it to me, so send a nice big shout out there to Pete. So now that I put the gray in there, I'm just going behind that gray and I'm putting some white in there. You don't want to leave this transparent where you can see that crack through it in the seam, because it'll show. So I'm going to put some of that in there. And to me, that still looks a little too dark and a little too transparent. So we're going to add a little more white. I'm going to put this in here. We'll mix her in. Also, if you notice, I'm using a wooden shim as opposed to a metal putty knife. Those metal putty knives will leave black or gray scuffs on that seam, and it'll show, and it'll look like you know, the vein in a shrimp or something. So each time I mix it, I put a little bit of it in here to see how close I'm getting. That one's a little closer, but you can still see. Pull that out, and I'm gonna add a little more white. Now when we actually do fill this all the way through, it's gonna show a lot darker than it does with me just putting a little skim on top. So I gotta be mindful of that as well. So right there, I think we're getting real close. But even in this, as good as the job as I'm doing, if you see there's some dark right here. I don't know what that's from.
Something right there too. Oh, we'll get you a new shim. That gray.
I think it's the gray coming off of my shim. So you gotta be very, very careful when you do a white seam. You wanna make sure you don't have any dark anything hitting you. I'm gonna grab a little more white pigment here. And Sammy's got my hardener already on there. I've also got some plastic putty knives that would probably work alright. But I'm gonna stick with the wood because I know that'll work. And it's just your only option if you don't get it right is to pull some of them back apart and do it again. And that's not a road I want to take. So I'm gonna put some more white in here. Remember, I put some gray in it in the beginning, and that's what's keeping it from looking just super solid white that freaking knocked your eyes out when you walk into the room. Now, of course, just like we always do, we're going to take a little of this and put it over here for our skim coat and stuff, and any chips or something that we might come across later on. We've got our Gorilla Grip set up right behind Sammy so that they're close by. And now,
you want to get that off for
that might interfere with our Gorilla Grips if we don't get that off. So we'll just wipe that off. Just to make sure everything's nice and clean again. That's good. Alright, so we're nice and clean. Everything's nice and clean. I'm going to get a brand new shim here. Looks like it's not going to fall. That one's pretty soft. Alright, that one's a pretty sturdy one. Don't look like it's got anything that's going to fall off and interfere. We'll take a little bit of hardener first, mix it in. Take a little more hardener. I take my hardener a little bit at a time and mix it through. It seems, in my opinion, to get a better mix like that. And then I'm going to take this last bit here and mix it in. Alright, now I'm going to squeeze on this side and I'm going to start shoving it in. And I'm just going to take this shim, and you can see now as I'm shoving it in how close we are to that color. I know to add gray and things to colors just because I've done it so long. It's very, very difficult for new installers because, you know, it's been trial and error for me, and unless you're an artist, you know, before you come here, you're not really going to know how much pigment to add and all that. So that's a plus for our customers that I've done it so long, and Sammy's been here and watched me do it, so I'm sure he knows how to mix pretty good. But it's just a major asset for the customer that we know how to get our pigments. And what we want to do, we want to get as much of this epoxy down in this hole as possible. Because when we squeeze it together, we hope it squeezes out the top and the bottom of the seam. But a lot of times that seam fan puts a reservoir on the bottom side, and I don't get all that 100% filled up. So I go from the bottom side and put it in there. So there we go. And you see I don't have any black lines or anything like that in it as of right now. So I'm going to grab this suction cup by hand and pull it over. Alright, so that gets us real close. And you want to make sure you get all this done before your akimi starts to dry up on you. You want to get that front as close as possible as well. And now we're going to grab our Gorilla Grip. I'm using a wood shim for everything because I don't want to use that razor blade. So Sandy always keeps our power and stuff set up over here so that we've got quick access to it. Alcohol helps these seam centers set, but unfortunately it will leave some marks on the stone that I'll have to clean off. But I'm willing to sacrifice those to get a perfect seam. Just gotta do some cleaning.
Thought I had them all rolled out.
Alright, should be good. I don't know if you noticed, but we got a lot of shims in this countertop. The cabinets are pretty unlevel. So now we're just going to twist these and it's going to pull it as tight as it can possibly get. Go back with my razor blade here. And I'm going to try to rub this off. And I'm trying to move fast because I don't want it to set up on me. So normally at this point I'd take a razor blade. But I'm going to kind of feel my finger here. Well, I'm pretty good there. feel just a little bit with my finger when I rub it, but you know, I'm always gonna be able to feel a little bit because I'm super picky. But I think we got it real close. I'm gonna try to pull her a little tighter, and I was able to get it to squeeze up a little more. And now I'm gonna go underneath. I still got a little bit of time, and I'm gonna squeeze all this that I can underneath this gap here. You can see some of it came through, but a lot of it did not. just to get, you know, as much of your seam filled with epoxy as you can. You don't ever want to get a call saying the seam came apart. You know, that don't look good. I mean, it does happen sometimes if you got a lot of pressure on a cabinet, but we like to try to not let that happen. Now, with what I got extra, I want to use the epoxy as kind of like a shim. I'm going to put it back here in that, and that'll keep that top from ever freaking dropping down. You don't have to worry about a shim falling out or anything like that, because your shim is epoxy. And it keeps you from wasting material as well. A guy I worked with at a place called Aspen Tops named Tim Revis showed me how to do that trick. I watch a lot of these people on the camping YouTube channels talk about gear and ideas and stuff that they came up with, and I know they didn't, because I seen the guy who originally came up with it 3 months ago talk about it, you know. And the people will be like, "Hey y'all, I just noticed this thing here and looked it up and gave it a try." Not saying, "Hey y'all, I saw Darwin with this 3 months ago, so I figured I'd give it a try." But anyway, that's my crap talking for the moment. Anybody that watches those channels knows who says, "Hey y'all, hey y'all, this is Dixodactyl." Alrighty, now looking pretty good. I'm starting to turn into oatmeal here. I hope not gonna be able to do much more. So at this point, we wait for this bad boy to dry.
It's the FOUCH shimmer.
Starts to harden up and it turns to what I call oatmeal. That's right before it sets up, and it'll produce heat. If you was here, you could feel it, feel how hot it is underneath. But another thing about this stone is it's got these gray lines on top. I was going to try to put a little bit of line work in this epoxy while it was hardening up. I have a problem seeing exactly where my gray lines are. I don't necessarily want to put them where they are not. Looks like we got a little one here, and right there we got one, so I'll make put some right there. What I don't want to happen is it to spread over in the other areas. See, I had a gray line there, so I just extended that over and across. Had one here, so I just extended it over, and I have one back here. Just extended it over. You know, it's not a lot. It's not too much work to do it. We'll see how well it stays on there. But if you can do stuff like that and get it to stay, it works out real well. You can also take an engraver and engrave lines in it to feel it, but some customers flip out when you do that, so I don't do that unless it's on my personal stuff. So Sammy's going to stop filming right now. We're going to let this dry, and we'll get back to you when we get ready to scrape. So we let our epoxy get hard. I took the Gorilla Grips off. The lighting in here seems kind of yellowish. I hope it shows up better on the computer when we get it. But now I'm going to scrape this seam. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use razor blades to scrape it. And I just learned that they have ceramic razor blades, so I'll buy some of those from Amazon. I seen it on all FABS on Facebook. So I'll order some of those and try them, and I'll let you guys know how they turn out. But I want to get my razor blades and my alcohol and stuff and let Sammy film me scraping this, and we'll see how it turned out. So first thing I do is I spray the epoxy down with denatured alcohol. To me, in my opinion, it softens it up, makes it cut easier. For some reason, other people don't like to do it. I don't care, I still do it. And then I don't have no choice. I'm just going to use these regular razor blades right here. And if I've done my job right, then this is leveled. I shouldn't be scratching it too much. That's the key to it, keeping it level so that you don't have sides sticking up that these blades are going to catch. And I know you guys are probably having trouble hearing me talk, but Way there's no chance I leave any dark marks on it. But I can still get this to where it's perfectly smooth.
How do you explain the joy of getting?
And that's it. And now I'll go ahead and sand and polish that. And once we get it all wrapped up, I will show you what the finished product looks like. So thanks for watching, guys. Alright guys, my goal on anything we do is to be able to take a step back and not see it. And I definitely think we've accomplished that with this seam here. Starting to see it now. You can see it right there. They got a little bit of a darkness to it, but that's just the line where it comes together. I don't think we've got a big dark line in it anyway. So I think all in all it turned out really well. And here's the rest of the job.